Beneath these silent waters, submerged coral reefs lay hidden for centuries, until China decided to turn them into military fortresses. Inside Beijing's military command, a classified decision was made. 7 submerged reefs would become armed islands, and no one would stop them. Every structure was blueprinted years in advance. Runways, hangars, missile batteries, disguised to the world as civilian construction.
China secretly built the world's most powerful dredging fleet, purpose-built machines of war dressed as construction ships.
In 2013, the fleet set sail southward. Dozens of ships, hundreds of male workers, and a mission the world knew nothing about. This is Fiery Cross Reef, barely above water at high tide. In 3 years, it would host fighter jets and long-range missiles. Thousands of years of coral growth, one of Earth's most diverse ecosystems, lay exactly where China planned to pour millions of tons of sand. Survey teams mapped every inch of the ocean floor, depth, currents, soil, treating a living coral reef as nothing more than a construction site.
When the dredging fleet arrived at the Spratly Islands, satellite cameras in Washington captured images that stunned the Pentagon.
What followed was the fastest land reclamation operation in recorded history. 3,000 acres of new land in less than 8 months. The cutter suction dredger, China's secret weapon, spins a massive steel cutter head against the ocean floor, pulverizing coral and sucking up sand. At full operation, one dredger moved over 4,000 cubic meters of ocean floor material every single hour, day and night, without stopping. Floating pipelines pumped the sand slurry at enormous pressure, spreading it across the coral reef surface like filling a massive underwater mold. Every movement was GPS guided to centimeter accuracy. Computer systems ensuring no square meter of reef was missed in the operation. New land was literally growing before their eyes, wet sand hardening into solid ground where open ocean had existed just hours before. As fast as the dredgers pumped sand, earth-moving crews leveled and graded it, building up meter by meter above the South China Sea waterline. Standing on land that did not exist 1 month ago, male survey crews marked the boundaries of what would become a full military airbase. There were no rest periods, no nights off. The dredging fleet operated around the clock. China needed speed before the world could react. Below deck, engine crews maintained over 20,000 horsepower FLES, the mechanical heart that kept the cutter head spinning 24 hours a day. Multiple dredgers worked simultaneously at each reef. China deployed its entire fleet to ensure the mission completed before international pressure could mount. Maintenance teams worked the floating pipelines in all weather, because every minute of downtime meant less island, and less island meant a weaker strategic position. In satellite imagery reviewed weekly by the Pentagon, analysts watched in disbelief as the reef grew, 10 acres per day at peak operation. Boundary stakes driven into newly made ground marked the edges of what Beijing called its territory, in waters 400 miles from the Chinese mainland. Supply ships rotated every 2 weeks, delivering food, fuel, and fresh male crews to maintain the relentless pace of construction. From the air, the transformation was unmistakable, a line dividing ancient ocean from brand new land, advancing east day like a slow-motion invasion. Once the sand reached the right height, concrete plants were assembled on the new land itself. Millions of tons of concrete ready to lock the island in place permanently. Concrete was poured continuously, crews working in rotating shifts to ensure no joint lines formed, creating a single solid foundation for the entire island base. Concrete crews worked in 40-degree heat, vibrating every pore to eliminate weak spots in what would become the armored skin of a military fortress. The perimeter seawall required blocks weighing up to 50 tons each, dropped by crane onto the reef edge to form an armor belt against ocean waves. Standing atop the seawall, waves crashing on one side, an entire military base taking shape on the other, workers knew history was being made beneath their boots. 200 days of seawall construction sealed the island permanently, creating an unsinkable military platform China would never surrender. Steel rebar grids, each rod placed by hand, formed the reinforcing skeleton inside every concrete structure on the island, built to withstand aerial bombardment. Every structure had to be engineered to survive typhoon-force waves, military attack, and the unstable new ground beneath. Concrete curing in tropical heat required constant water spray. Workers walked every meter of fresh concrete, protecting the structural integrity of the island foundation. Drainage networks were engineered into the island core, managing both rainfall and ocean spray on a flat concrete platform with no natural drainage. From above, the geometric precision of the island's shape revealed what satellite analysts already suspected. This was no civilian infrastructure project. Surface finishing crews prepared every concrete face, grinding, leveling, and sealing, building the island's structural shell to military construction specifications. The moment the seawall closed, the island became permanent. No storm, no wave, no court ruling could remove what had been sealed in concrete. The runway center line, 3,000 meters long, was marked first. Every stake driven with precision. The base layer, crushed aggregate compacted to precise density, formed the load-bearing foundation designed to handle the weight of fully armed fighter jets. Compaction testing at every meter ensured the runway base could handle 10-ton military aircraft landing at full speed on a man-made island in open ocean. The slip-form paver moved at exactly 2 meters per minute. Pouring, shaping, and finishing a 10-meter-wide surface texture was critical. Each groove hand-finished to specifications, allowing high-speed aircraft to land safely on an island that did. Expansion joints were cut at every 12 meters, allowing the runway concrete to move slightly with temperature changes without cracking the surface. At 3,000 meters long, the runway stretched nearly the full length of the island, capable of launching and recovering the most advanced Chinese military aircraft. Taxiways connecting the runway to the hardened hangars were built to military turning radius specifications, designed for the J-11 and J-10 fighter jets. Night crews took over from day crews without pause. The runway had to be complete before international observers could arrive to document the operation. Runway markings were painted by specialized crews, centerlines, thresholds, holding positions, every detail matching international military aviation standards. Standing at the threshold of a completed military runway with open ocean on 3 sides, this was an engineering achievement unlike anything attempted in modern history. Approach lighting systems, essential for night and all-weather operations, were installed to convert this remote island airfield into a arresting gear, identical to aircraft carrier systems, was installed across the runway, enabling fast jets to land even if their brakes failed on the short island surface. Senior PLA engineers walked the finished runway end-to-wind, certifying that China's newest military airfield, built in open ocean, was ready for operational use. Foundation excavations for the hardened aircraft shelters required removing thousands of tons of material digging down into the island's concrete foundation layer. Hardened shelters designed to protect aircraft from missile strikes, required massive arched concrete roofs up to 3 meters thick, cast in one continuous pour.
3 meters of reinforced concrete overhead, poured continuously over 16 hours.
Inside the completed shelter, over 60 meters long and 15 meters tall, crews installed electrical systems. Blast-proof steel doors, each weighing over 30 tons, were installed to seal the aircraft inside hardened shelters built to survive direct weapons impacts. Underground aviation fuel storage was built directly into the island, enough reserves for sustained combat operations without dependence on mainland supply ships. Specialist aircraft maintenance equipment arrived by ship, engine test stands, hydraulic rigs, avionics labs, converting the island shelter into a forward air maintenance facility. 6 hardened shelters stood completed, each one an individual fortress protecting a military aircraft worth hundreds of millions of dollars from any strike. By dusk, the completed hangar complex stood permanent and impenetrable, a fortified, military aviation. The deepwater port required lowering precast quay wall sections, each one 50 tons, creating a harbor capable of berthing China's largest warships. Harbor dredging reached 12 meters depth, deep enough for guided missile destroyers and amphibious assault ships to dock alongside the island pier. Steel piles driven to bedrock through 40 meters of ocean formed the structural legs of the dock, anchored firmly enough to moor warships in typhoon conditions. Mooring bollards, rated for vessels over 10,000 tons, were bolted to the dock surface, ready to hold China's warships during refueling and resupply operations. Ship refueling pipelines ran under the dock surface, capable of transferring 2,000 tons of naval fuel per hour to warships at berth. Harbor cranes, reaching 40 meters above dock level, gave the island the ability to unload any military cargo, weapon system, or vehicle from transport ships independently. Before construction was even finished, supply ships began using the completed dock sections. The island was already operational as a military logistics hub. Helicopter landing pads on the dock allowed military helicopters to operate independently of the runway, enabling anti-submarine warfare and maritime patrol operations. The completed port, over 500 meters of dock frontage, gave China's Navy a deep-water forward base. Radar towers rose above the island's surface, each antenna reaching 40 meters high, giving China items. Large white spheres housing classified radar and intelligence-gathering equipment were installed at multiple positions across each island platform. Communications centers were built at the core of each island, hardened rooms housing encryption systems, satellite uplinks, and command networks connecting to Beijing. Satellite communication dishes connected each island directly to Chinese military satellites, giving commanders in Beijing real-time control over every island simultaneously. Electronic jamming arrays, capable of disrupting enemy radar, communications, and GPS guidance systems, were installed as offensive electronic warfare weapons. Armored fiber optic networks ran underground beneath the island Sirius, connecting every radar, every weapon system, and every camera to the island command center. From these radar rooms, operators tracked every ship and aircraft within 500 kilometers, monitoring the world's most critical commercial shipping lanes in real time. High-frequency surface wave radar extended detection range to over 300 kilometers, allowing the island to track submarines and surface ships far beyond visual range. Systems testing ran for weeks, every frequency checked, every satellite link verified, every radar sector scanned before the island was declared operationally ready. Seen from above at night, the island pulsed with electronic activity. Radar beams sweeping the darkness. Hardened missile launch pads were built at each corner of the island perimeter. Reinforced blast walls surrounding positions designed for surface-to-air missile batteries. Underground missile storage tunnels kept warheads protected from airstrikes twice, connected by rails to surface launchers ready to fire within minutes of an alarm. The first PLA Navy military personnel arrived while construction was still ongoing. Weapons specialists sent ahead to prepare the missile systems for operational close-in weapon systems, capable of firing 6,000 rounds per minute, provided a final defensive ring against any aircraft or missile that penetrated the outer defense layers. Weapons control centers integrated radar tracking with missile and gun systems, creating an automated engagement zone that could destroy any target within range without delay. Perimeter security sensors, cameras, motion detectors, and acoustic systems gave the island garrison advance warning of any approaching vessel or swimmer. Buried armored cables linked every weapon position to a central fire control computer, capable of engaging multiple targets simultaneously from one command location. This island now projects Chinese military power 500 kilometers from the mainland. Controlling sea lanes carrying modular barracks units were craned into position from supply ships, purpose-built accommodation for the permanent garrison of over 1,000 male military personnel. Every centimeter of interior space was designed for maximum efficiency. Each barracks room, housing 10 personnel. The island's mess hall was designed to feed 800 personnel per day. Industrial kitchen equipment capable of preparing 3 full meals daily using supplied ingredients. Desalination plants converted seawater into drinking water on site, producing over 500 cubic meters of fresh water daily to sustain the garrison without mainland supply. 4 independent diesel generators, each producing 5 megawatts, gave the island complete energy independence. Storage engines. A self-contained field hospital gave the garrison surgical capability on site, ensuring no military operation would be. Gymnasium facilities were built for permanent garrison morale. Male military personnel stationed here for 12-month rotations needed fitness infrastructure to maintain combat readiness. Hydroponic greenhouses were built to grow fresh vegetables on the island tray, reducing supply ship dependency and giving the garrison greater operational independence in any blockade scenario. Internal security perimeters divided the island into classified and support zones, restricting access to weapons areas, communications facilities, and command centers. The island command center, hardened concrete walls 2 meters thick, connected every system on the base to a single command point. Linked one by one, scaffolding came down across the island, the construction phase ending and the operational military phase beginning on land that did not exist 3 years ago. Finishing crews spent weeks clearing construction debris and preparing the island's surface, transforming a building site into a fully operational military installation. The first military jet touched down on Fiery Cross Reef's completed runway, a moment U.S. defense officials later called a turning point in the balance of power in the Pacific. China's People's Liberation Army Navy warships entered the completed harbor Pho, a fleet now with a forward base capable of controlling the entire South China Sea. 24 hours a day, the island's radar arrays swept the surrounding ocean, tracking every vessel and aircraft within 500 kilometers without interruption.
7 islands, 3,000 acres of new land, 10,000 feet of military runway.
U.S. Navy freedom of navigation operations began almost immediately, ships deliberately sailing within 12 miles of the islands to challenge China's territorial claim.
When international journalists finally photographed the completed islands, the images shocked governments worldwide.
Philippine fishermen who had worked these waters for generations now faced Chinese Coast Guard ships ordering them away from islands built over the reefs they had fished for centuries. Beneath the concrete, the coral reefs were gone forever, buried under millions of tons of sand and concrete, destroying ecosystems that took 10,000 years to grow. Chinese state television broadcast images of the completed bases to domestic audiences, presenting them as engineering triumphs and proof of China's growing global power. Overlapping radar zones from all 7 islands created a surveillance blanket covering the entire South China Sea. Nothing moved through these waters without China's knowledge.
Satellite imagery in 2024 revealed construction continuing at Antelope Reef. proving China's island-building program.
Fiery Cross Reef, the Reef, once a submerged coral ecosystem reef, now stands as one of the most heavily armed military installations in Asia. 7 specks of concrete in the South China Sea now control the shipping lanes carrying $5 trillion of global trade every year. Built in secret, finished before the world reacted, China built 7 unsinkable aircraft carriers from the ocean floor touch-eats, and the South China Sea has never been the same since.